This week on RSBANDB Update, Harvest Hollow arrives for another year with Guys and Dolls, Firemaking and Farming, plus questions about holiday event fatigue. With Parcels of the Dead, Soul Dies, and Pumpkins on tap, we ask if holiday events need to change. This is RSBANDB Update, episode 1059, recorded Thursday, October 16th, 2025. Guys and Dolls. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of RSBANDB Update. This week, Halloween returns to RuneScape for another year with the Harvest Hollow event, plus everything around that, which we'll get to, of course, in due time. Pernasius, everyone's second favorite Australian, welcome back to the show.
G'day. Hey, g'day all.
Been a couple weeks since we put you in Aussie jail because of that long episode we recorded.
Yeah, I got punished.
No, it's not your fault. It was a damn good episode. But also, Xurdones is here, the other Canadian that frequently joins this podcast, also Clan Quester.
And very upset that I wasn't on the now longest episode.
That's right, because previously you and Avernick held the longest episode record for the Desert Finale series back in at the tail end of July there. So, but hey, I mean,
I think we'll be able to reclaim it.
I'm not planning on breaking that record for a long time.
A big one.
Long time. But of course, we'll talk all about Halloween, but this episode would not be possible without our experienced tier Patreon members. This week, that is Amos Reed, Bladecom, Dominic R., Jade Gizmo, Jason S., Jesse W., Kesky, Lemon Lodge, Luminos, Ricky A., Oasis, Snail Mage, The Naked Captain, and Tim. Big, huge thank you, everybody. And there is an opening now in the experienced tier Patreon ranks, so if you are interested in supporting us at the premier level, head on over to patreon.com/RSBNB. We'll talk more about what you all get for that in just a little bit. But, of course, if you want to follow along, full show notes are also available over at update.show. You can find the Friends chat in-game at BitsBytes and the Discord over at update.show/Discord. Harvest Hollow, here until November 10th. The second year run of the Halloween event with the new seasonal quest, Guys and Dolls. Fun
Ends
little
the same
tongue-in-cheek
day
name.
that ends the same day that Leagues ends.
Yeah, and
Very cruel.
like that's the thing. How many of us are gonna sit there at AFK when we're, have bigger dopamine with Leagues, right?
I guess the people who were clever enough to do leagues on alt, but
the thing is,
well.
that's what my character setup is, and I can't see myself doing it just because I feel like I can only focus on one account right now with that.
And
yeah.
the thing is, I mean, the rewards are, I logged on, did the quest, bought out what was left in the shop, and that's it. I mean, there was nothing really new. So...
Yeah, and you've been here a long time, so you have all the rewards.
Exactly. So it was like, okay, it tied up about 20 minutes of my time. We'll get into that when we go through the quest later.
Let's do that now. Let's go through go through the quest now. Because effectively what this is about is you need to find the scarecrow, some new abilities to scare crows with in the quest, and this, of course, the first thing you need to do with that is head on to the city of to the southern dock there, and this is I didn't find this too difficult, but Pyrn, you had a different story here.
Yeah, well, I mean, first off, finding the guy you had to speak to start the quest, it's a little ghost gnome, and everyone's standing on top of him. I mean, trying to find him, okay, finally found him, no worries. Talk to him, go to and, it says down at the southern docks near the bargain guy that you buy your armor from. So, yep, no worries. Head down there, and there's a little gnome wandering around. Can't click it. Right click. I've only got examine. Must have done something wrong. Go back. Speak to the guy. Have you spoke to Dolly yet? Okay. Obviously, I've done everything there. Go back straight to around the bargain guy. same thing. And I'm going, what is going on? And sort of, I had to zoom in and move the camera around, and Dolly is actually under the bridge, another little ghost gnome. Now,
What?
for most people, that's
Mine was right beside some like stalls.
well, yeah, little stalls, but it's sort of under the bridge part. So, and it was a ghost as well. So it's like,
yeah, you must be playing ultra zoomed out then.
Well, generally I play zoomed out a fair bit, yeah, because of my eyesight. It's just the way I've always played. So it took me a little bit to find that, but still, no big deal. It was, it was doable, but I just found the whole thing very bland. I mean, it just didn't, get a couple of inks, speak to 2-3 people.
Yeah, what was your take, Xurdones? Because, I mean, we have inks in the Ledia, so that part's simple.
Yeah, it was a very short quest. It
short
reminded
and fetch,
me,
right?
Short and fetch. It was very much like it struck me as very much a tutorial quest. Like, this is the new skilling thing that we've added. Because that's really what it is, right?
Yeah, it introduces the bonfire
and
and the farming squash stuff.
I thought it was kind of a cute premise. I didn't test this, but I liked how they indicated, and I suspect that you can use multiple items to solve the puzzle. So, like, one of the things you have to do is you have to get the scarecrow a spine because he's cowardly and he's spineless.
Yeah.
The way you're prompted to do it is at the archaeology station.
Yeah, or the summoning one too, returns the ancient bodies or whatever they are.
I think all of the skilling stations have a chance to drop the ancient bodies, but you're guaranteed to get them for completing the archaeology reward. And then that gives you a torso that you can give. But it also makes a point of saying in dialogue, I wonder if there's something else I can use. So I think you could also use like a Muspa spine.
The wiki does say Muspa spine, yeah.
Yeah. I assumed that you could, but I didn't try it.
Yeah.
I didn't have one to hand. It was easier.
That's the way I ended up going because I couldn't find this ghost. I ended up opening the wiki to sort of see, and they obviously everything's there. Okay, well, I'll just grab a Muspa spine and that, and away I go. But yeah.
So I liked that. I liked the multiple solutions thing. I thought the writing was kind of cute. The ravens getting progressively more frightened.
Yeah,
it was kind of funny.
And I think what the and I didn't think about this before coming in here, but I think what the like the project brief on this would be is like imagine the old traditional holiday quest that we used to have and put that in here as just basically what is going to be part of this year's Harvest Hollow. And I think if you were to say bring this exact quest to old school and change some of the locations to it and obviously the graphics and just what people perceive about it, then I think this quest would honestly fit in old school, thinking about it now that you've said that, as I didn't necessarily think of the bits with the crows, because I was just thinking this is just a fetch quest coming in, kind of like.
Yeah.
And I had it in mind that I'm comparing this to things that are when it comes to holiday, and maybe this is not the right way of doing it. The first comparison that comes to mind is like Violet is Blue, and then obviously the Christmas ones from the past 2 or 3 years, which felt like that was maybe a little bit more involved than this. I don't know.
I think that's the problem too. We are comparing it to those type, and Halloween is just a 2-week event. It's mainly in America. I love Halloween, but it's not something all Aussies sort of celebrate. It's more of an American thing. But it was a really cute quest. I mean, I'm probably being a bit harsher on it because I was frustrated that I actually had to go to the wiki to look up where this dolly was. So, but it's. Overall, the quest, I mean, very short such, but it wasn't bad.
The longest portion of the quest for me was doing the summoning activity to get the torso.
Yeah, well, as I said, because I'd
You know.
opened up the wiki to find Dolly, I'd read obviously
Just go
was
grab
the
your
spine, so I
Muspel
just
spine.
pulled one of those out. Yeah, I've got a ton of those in the bank, so I thought, stuff it, I'm just going to use that.
Yeah. Okay. And, you're wondering what is the reward from this. As Xurdones mentioned, it onboards the farming activity, which gives you orders of pumpkins or otherwise squash type things that you're going to be sending back to and you get the farming XP for it, plus the spooky tokens, or you can just go and burn logs on a bonfire and get spooky tokens for doing that, which is what I might just end up doing because I have tons and tons of protean logs that I can just throw away.
Hmm.
Yeah, you can also use the cauldrons to get just free logs. It's not much XP.
Oh, really?
But
I missed that. Where exactly is that to interact with?
You notice that the bonfire changes color periodically. There are 4 colored cauldrons around the perimeter.
Okay.
And if you click on one of those, it's the same sort of like active skilling thing. Whichever one matches
it'll give
the
you
color
more
will
XP
give you
and tokens.
Right. Exactly.
And I was also reading, and this is maybe a good thing to consider, is that you can get the firemaking pet from there, one of the rarer pets.
Yes, you can.
Out there. So,
yes, you can.
Yeah. I mean, for me,
I got the summoning pet from the Halloween event last year.
Oh, awesome!
That's a good idea,
and that's what's great. Yeah, I love that they do give the pets away at these events. Yeah, I mean, I'm 200 mil all, so these events really aren't for me. I just like the
How many
quests.
pets are you missing?
None. I've got I've had Master of All for years.
Yeah.
That's why I want a female version of each pet to start chasing as well now. But anyway, they'll never do that for me. So I've had Master of All for probably 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I do like for people that they do sort of have the pets there now, because for the longest time at events like the beach and that, they didn't.
They didn't have them, yeah.
Especially with people who are already maxed. It's a good AFK way to chase your pet, just getting that type of thing. So these events are good for that type of thing. And while they're not, phenomenal XP, it's AFK and it's free. So, it doesn't need to be the best.
And what you do get for completing the quest is you get a new pet follower, Wendell, that kind of looks like a skilling pet, which I thought was interesting. For that, you also get the 10,000 spooky tokens amongst everything else. So there's definitely always a reason to do these quests when they come out. But aside from that, Harvest Hollow is pretty much the same as last year. They added the Witch Doctor outfits from 2008 Halloween to the Spooky Token store.
The Witch and Warlock event outfits.
Which, I didn't have. Obviously, I wasn't here in 2008, so those were the only things I needed to buy.
Yeah, there you go.
And I had 120k spooky tokens left over from last year, so.
They also made some slight quality of life changes to the maze, but after my maze experiences last year, I'm just going to ignore that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even bother.
I mean, like if you have active or double reward token, sure, take a run through it, but it's just not fun, I don't think.
And those confectionaries selling 50k points for those confectionaries, I think, is a bit exorbitant too.
But the reason I mentioned the maze is because that's where the ultra rare scythe pet came from, and that is back this year too, if people want to chase that.
The scythe pet comes from the clan confections, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But you get points. You get those little helmety things from the maze, which gives you the chance for confections as well.
Okay, so
yeah, well, you can get confections from any activity.
Yeah.
They drop randomly, and you can buy them with spooky tokens, as you said. The what's interesting about the bosses or the maze is you can get the boss pet skins and the masks.
That's right. Yeah.
And I know that was a big controversy last year, but I just feel like it's accepted at this point that that's going to be there, and you're always going to have a chance to earn them, earn it back with that. So I don't have too many concerns about that.
No issues with that. No.
Yeah. You guys good to move on from Harvest Hollow? I think that's most of everything that was there.
Yeah. It's, if you did it last year, you know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
Cute little quest, which is a little bland, but some nice little funny bits in it.
It's got a little bit of spice to it in places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I have seen following this week is that there's just I haven't seen one person in particular shouting about this, but one thing that has, and this is just a general community feeling, you guys can tell me what you think of it. It feels like there is holiday event fatigue. In particular with, just realizing that this is here and maybe, it's not exactly what people want, but at the end of the day, we're just going to do it anyways because it's what we got for the time being.
I don't know so much about fatigue as in so many events happening at once. I mean, I wasn't even, when I started leagues, I wasn't even thinking Halloween at the time that would sort of fall in the middle of it and such. You've got that, and then you've got something that sounds really interesting that would have got me having a look over at Old School, but obviously falls in the middle of the leagues. It's like the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing sometimes.
Yeah, I'm not super tuned into what the broader community is saying, but I had kind of a similar thought. It's like, okay, this event is happening, but do I want to do this or do I want to do leagues?
Right.
And if I'm an old school player, do I want to do Gridmaster instead? At the same time, the stuff that they've added, I mean, I spent a lot of time in the Halloween event last year. So I took a long break from playing. I didn't have a lot of stuff unlocked. I did a lot of the Halloween event last year and unlocked everything. The Warlock outfit was one of the few things I did have because I was playing in 2008. So for me, I did the quest, and what am I going to do now? I could do the maze, which, as we discussed, I could AFK bonfires to hope to get the firemaking pet, or I could go back to leagues. So it's kind of like, why bother?
Right.
Especially since next year you're going to be able to do the event again anyway and unlock those things.
And it's almost as though that the league's time frame had to be in the specific spot that it was, because we've always talked that it felt like the best time for leagues was the end of October through that first week of January. Typically, that's how the old school ones have run. But when you look at this, that is kind of running up against what we're thinking for 120 thieving, and then possibly some Havenhithe stuff in January is my read on it, at least.
Not to mention the Christmas event.
Yeah, that too.
Again,
it would overlap that too.
Well, maybe you bring in the Halloween event a bit earlier, finish it on the 1st, and you have the Christmas event extend rather than starting at the start of December. You sort of do it midway through December to midway through January, and sort of it starts when leagues ends or something. I don't know. I mean, it's tough, and scheduling is always going to be tough.
Yeah.
My biggest thing is running an old school event up against a main scape event.
Yeah,
I mean, that to me was the stupidest thing they could have done.
My theory on that, I have two theories on that. One is a little
old school was sad about losing all their people.
I still think it's probably low double-digit percentage old school people who jumped over to try our league. But what I think wound up happening there, and there's two theories I have. One I think is probably the more realistic one. The other one is the more tinfoil hatty one. I'll start with the tinfoil hatty one. I think what that one amounts to is a feeling that this RS3 league was run and developed to a point where they, just had to get it out the door, right? Because there's no region locking, there's no other mechanic progression other than just doing tasks. There's no interesting combat separate track. There's no specific thing to kind of lean into that differentiates it from what is otherwise just speed running the game and doing tasks along the way. So my tinfoil hatty theory is that, well, maybe they were expecting this league to not really be as successful as it was. And then with that, you can say, well, yeah, then, we admit that, old school is the game that has more players. So let them run Gridmaster right now in the tail end of October until that second week of November there, because it's even more limited than leagues. Let them run that, because right now, for people who haven't been following the old OSRS updates, is that there really has been no OSRS content aside from patches since Varlamore came out in July, Varlamore Part 3. Granted, they've had patch weeks and QOL weeks and whatnot, but there haven't been any headliners, and my feeling on that is that is being constrained by sailing and putting the finishing touches on sailing. So at that point, you look that it's been about 2 months since the last big OSRS headliner. OSRS wants to do a headliner. What can they do? Let's do something like Gridmaster, trial a bingo system that is effectively League's Light, just to keep the players engaged until sailing launches probably in the tail end of this year, late November or early December. And, it comes with the admission that the RS3 League, really doesn't matter much in the grand scheme of Jagex-related things, because the hardcore RS3 players will, play it and try it out. There's going to be people in the first few weeks that's going to try the RS3 League from old school and then move back when Gridmaster happens. And it just comes with the admission that, this was the first league. Nobody, as long as it works and people are generally happy with it and it keeps people engaged for a certain amount of time, that's a success for that league. So as a result, it's okay to run something like Gridmaster. That's the kind of conspiracy tinfoil hatty theory. I realize it doesn't sound as tinfoil hatty now, but
I remember asking that question, like, as the league stuff was starting to be announced, like, as you said, RS3's leagues, Catalyst leagues, is not very mechanically deep.
No.
So my question at the time was, to what extent is this going to be interesting to old school players? Because it really is like it's baby's first leagues. So if I'm a hardcore old school player, I've played all the 5 leagues. Is that going to be interesting?
No, it's only
is that going to keep me engaged?
Right, and I think it's only
months?
Interesting to old school players if they want to, dip their toes in and see what RS3 is about.
Right, like that's the interest. It's see what RS3 has done, get a look at the RS3 content. That's the novelty factor.
Exactly.
But like how much staying power does that have?
Right, and that gets to the other point, and I think what is the realistic decision when it comes to the overlap between this Halloween event and Gridmaster launching on the same week, is that if you look at the typical player history charts for the past old school leagues, at least the last 3 of them, you can see that the player count starts to drop off after week 3 or week 4, and the energy
that's what Hooley said.
Yeah, so that's the kind of what I think actually happened there. But it's easy to make the connection and think that, well, this is RS3 with fewer players. Maybe that is a consideration. But metrics and past experience-wise, I think it's the latter, that activity starts to drop off in the league after week 3 or 4. Hence, just, run Halloween, run Gridmaster. And I don't know if you guys have realized this or felt this, but not the start of this week, but if you go back a week Monday, that's when I first started to feel the energy kind of starting to seep out of leagues. So the 6th.
I think for me it was this week.
Okay.
So I held out a little bit longer than you.
Okay. And by
I'm still
energy, I
doing
just
it,
mean
but-
not having as many full worlds, not seeing as many people around, and not seeing the energy amongst people, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm talking like personally my own sense of energy. I mean, I did notice today,
that's
I
fair.
went to one of the Infernal Star events, and I could almost see the pyre fiends to kill them. So that was a staggering drop in player count.
Yeah.
I just jumped to a quiet world when those ones are on.
Yeah. I sometimes do that, but I didn't today.
But it's like, does it matter though? Because I think if we bring this back to the Halloween event, I mean, I'm on, let's see, what world did I load up here? I loaded up World 72 right now, and the event's popping, so there's going to be a few worlds where it's running. But I think there has been, and maybe the player count is different, and the activity is telling a different story. But things I've seen on social media, things that I've felt, it's like maybe doing 3 of these a year is not the right call. But then we're back to that situation you said, Xurdones, is what do you have for Halloween or holiday events?
Yeah, I mean, they could go back to smaller scale events. I'm thinking like the krill balloon thing they did for Halloween 3, 4 years ago. When was that? I can't remember now. Remember what I'm talking about?
No.
There was a really small, I'm sure it was a Halloween event around Draenor Manor where it was like a short little quest. They had some Zamorakian cultists pop in to do a ritual. I think they started coming in day by day, and then they were doing a little ritual, and I think they were trying to summon krill, but they ended up summoning like a balloon krill, and so then you had to go and chase this balloon
Okay.
thing.
I vaguely remember
I remember
that. I don't know
chasing
what year it
balloon
was.
Yeah, I remember the
I don't
chasing
remember
those
what year it
balloons.
was.
Didn't
Now
even know it was a Halloween one, but yeah.
It might have been an April Fool's event. Now that I'm thinking about it, I can't
And
remember.
and the thing is, like,
I could look that up.
What? And I hate to say it, people will
It was
say
an April Fool's event, not a Halloween event.
Okay.
Anyway, carry on.
Okay. People will say that they like or dislike these events, but I hate to say it, what really matters for these is the engagement.
Exactly. I said, for myself, these aren't the events for me anymore because I am 200 mil all. So, fair enough.
And you own everything.
I just want a nice little quest I can go and have a bit of fun with, unlock something, and then go on my way. That's fine. And I understand that these events aren't for me, but it's just, I do appreciate a nice little quest with, a nice unlockable reward. What I would have liked is, again, though, is not that crossover. As I said, have it run a week later, If it was with that crossover, started on the 31st or, the Monday before Halloween and let it run a week after League. So for those who do want to do it and grind that out, they don't have to make the choice. They can do that, and then they've got a week to get everything done that they want to do after leagues.
Right, but I also think that it's a bad thing that people feel that they need to be compelled to buy everything out of the store if they don't have it.
Well, I think that's what Jagex is trying to do with this promise to bring it back every year, so you don't feel that need. I think the hesitation that I've had with that in the past, and I think I've expressed in the past, is, Jagex say they're going to do that, but they've said that before about other things,
and then it doesn't come back.
Yeah, so this is
all the old Yak Track rewards, for instance.
The FOMO.
Some of those came back in the Yak Coin shop, but then the Yak Tracks went away. Yak Coin shop didn't. Some of those came back via the Mega Bundle, but only very few of them. There's a
That's
bunch
right.
that are still not accessible anymore
The old
that have
FOMO.
not been brought back. So, like, I think
And
there,
those are things they should be rotating through the Oddment store.
I agree. And again, like they tried doing that with the Oddment store, and they said they were going to do that with the Oddment store, but the Oddment store hasn't had its stock updated since that update.
Hmm.
So, like, the claim, the aspiration is if you don't get it this year, it'll be back next year. And to their credit, we've brought back the Christmas event for 2 years.
Yeah.
We've brought back the Easter event for 2 years. We brought back the Halloween event for 2 years. So far, they are doing it. Will they continue to?
And this is number
I don't
2
know.
for Halloween, right? And
This is
and
number
then,
2 for
and
Halloween.
then the thing is, where do you get the rewards if they don't?
Right.
So, I maybe it's just the feeling that you need to be doing something in game, because I think that's the other thing that has come up with this is that in addition to this, we have the return of the Parcels from the Dead event, which we'll talk about in just a moment. I'm going to thank Patreon supporters first, then we'll move into that. So this week I'd like to thank Alvaro L, Amos Reed, Arvids L, Bladecom, Chilbura, Dominic R, Duramax, Guy Lafleur, Imperialis, Jade Gizmo, Jason S, Jesse W, Julia W, Keski, Lemon Lodge, Luminos, Michelle M, Mike Wings, Mongrath, Pernasius, Ricky A, Robbie D, Rob Sobs, Samuel FL, Scott DS, Shirt Pants, Sioaces, Smavin, Snail Mage, Tabby, The Naked Captain, The Dabbing Goat, Tim, Ukulele Steve, Woody, Zant, and Zazakon. And as I mentioned at the top of the show, there is an opening in the experience tier for anybody who wants to sign up for that. There's one slot remaining. What this means is that you'll receive the shout out at the top of the episode. You have the option to schedule attendance of a RSBANB update recording where you get to listen to us in pre-show and ask us any questions that you want, have any discussions that you want. They're all for you. We don't put these out, so it's a one-time thing just for you. And to top it all off, experienced tier members receive periodic mail-outs that get sent. So if that sounds interesting to you and you want to subscribe or upgrade your pledge, patreon.com/RSBNB, and you can do that right there. We also, of course, have the base $1 a month tier. For that, you get voting rights for the monthly bid, and you get access to a back catalog now of 87 monthly bit episodes. These include things like we did this past week about region locking, like we've done in the past on holiday events, interestingly enough, Legacy Combat, the various tier lists, and so many other things. We also have the VIP tier, where for $3 a month you receive a VIP rank on the Discord channel, a special channel to chat with us and other Patreon members, as well as high-quality stereo versions of the show. And for $5 a month, you receive a shout-out on the podcast each and every week, and you gain exclusive access to clips that we use to make the clip show at the end of the year. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, patreon.com/RSBNB. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so I want to move on to Parcels from the Dead here, but is there anything else on holiday events before we move on to that? Because I feel like they're kind of intrinsically linked with the fatigue element.
I think one element about, I think something we kind of been dancing around with this expansion to the Harvest Hollow is that the expansion itself feels kind of thin. And I think there's a redemptive reading between that, like there's an intersection between that problem, the problem of running that event in parallel, the Halloween event in parallel with leagues and dividing attention, and also the fact that the Halloween event is very expensive to buy all the things. It requires a very large time investment that makes it a little bit of a more
expensive in time.
Redemptive. Yeah, well, expensive. Yeah, I meant expensive in tokens, but I guess tokens is time.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Okay.
like the Halloween token shop, if you have nothing, it's something like 1.5 million tokens. somewhere in that range. Maybe it's 1.2, something like that, to buy out the shop. So like that's a lot of tokens. So expanding that with a very small expansion, I don't think is a bad thing. Because like, yeah, I spent a lot of time last year grinding out 1 million tokens. Pyrn spent a lot of time playing the game and didn't need to grind out a lot of tokens
Mm.
because he had all the stuff. But if you're not in one of those two camps, if you have a lot of stuff you need to unlock, but you can't play unreasonable amounts of time a week to grind out all the tokens, then yeah, it's going to suck to come back next year and be like, oh, I need another 100, 200,000 tokens to buy more stuff.
That's it. And one thing that always gets me is most of the other events, if you get your reward parcels, presents, whatever they are, big presents, small presents, they're generally 5K and 10K. The confectionery in here is 50K for one chance at the rare, and that just seems exorbitant. I mean, I don't understand why that isn't a 10K
I mean,
item at the same time.
I think it's because you already get them randomly from getting the tokens. So it doesn't really need to be like it. I think it's okay that it's more expensive because it's a bonus.
Fair enough.
If you're playing enough to get 50K tokens, you're probably going to get 5 to 10 of these things anyway.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's it. I never bought any because I was getting enough through the play last year.
I think the bigger issue
Right.
that's illustrated there is that they're different in price between the different holiday events.
They are, yes, quite dramatically. Like the Easter store is fairly inexpensive, as I recall.
Well,
I don't remember all the numbers off the top of my head, but
yeah, but Easter you could pretty much buy out in 2 or 3 hours play if you
Right.
had. I mean, that's not going from start, obviously, but
sure.
yeah.
Sure.
But today, if you wanted to buy out the just those 3 items for today's one, and I just happen to have the tokens that I ground out last year. I had 120 odd thousand tokens. You would still need probably 10 to 12 hours play just to get those ones this year.
Right.
And it all comes back to the question of, the need that I think everybody has to just, complete it and have it all, which, that's why these events have never been a big issue for me, is because I don't feel that way. But at the same time, I understand why people do and why they're advocating for, less of this in terms of leading to event fatigue. So
It's a hard problem because, as I think I've said, it's hard bordering on impossible to make a reward that isn't also a goal.
especially in a game like RuneScape, mind you.
Yeah.
Because it looks nice, right? Well, I mean, some of the modern ones do. Like, I don't necessarily think some of the older ones do. I don't think they've held up that well.
Well, there can be a kind of nostalgia to some of the old ones. But
And if you're someone like me, I mean, I don't care what they look like. I just like to unlock everything because it's part of that completionist mindset that I have. So
What
it's
if what if they just say, and I realize, they lose engagement on this, but with the whole, say that they're going to look at, MTX and everything else that has been raised as issues. What if they just say, this is the last Christmas event at the Christmas Hub. Going forward, we're going back to one and done holiday events, old school model, short quest. You unlock everything from past years. How do we feel about that?
I'd be happy with that. I have no issue with people getting stuff that I unlocked 12 years ago because they weren't playing at the time. I mean, I know there's a lot of people go, oh, but I was playing then and you weren't. Why should you get it type thing? But why not?
The issue, I know where you're going with Xurdones, and this is probably why they don't do it, right?
I wasn't thinking along those lines. Go and say what you're going to say.
No, I was going to say that with the amount of time you need to put into something like a little quest in this day and age for RS3, you kind of want to be able to reuse that.
Gotcha. But see, and again, there's the other thing. There's nothing wrong with having a rotate. Just have 5 or 6 quests that you've done, older ones that you
Or
bring back, and just rotate
or just
through.
bring the quest back every season. Like bring all the Christmas quests back for that period every season that you can play.
Yeah.
Play any of
Remember
them
that
and you get all the rewards.
that one we had where we had that little hub and you could go through each of the doorways. Just do that. Just have that where you have 3 or 4 of the old ones. You can choose. You can do all of them if you want. But I'm going to do that one this year. I'm going to do that one
But
this
the
year.
one thing I do want to say through all this is that the Halloween hub and the Christmas hub and all of that stuff looks amazing graphically.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
And it's like, why would you throw that away at this point? So,
but that's it. But you can use those hubs as an ICO. You can still have that training stuff there for people who want it, but just have a little doorway that you go through to enter an older quest event. You don't have to write. I mean, I'd love to play. If I played a quest, like there was a quest back when I first started, the Ice Queen and the Spring Queen and all that. You had to go hunt around and get their crowns or something like that, But it was like 10 or 12 years ago I played that. Love to do it again. If it was up available this year for the thing, I'd definitely jump in and redo it.
I would also. I'm not going to say I don't want to do that because I would love to be able to revisit some of those old events. I think there's a lot of part of the issue, I think, is the expectations that as a player base we set on this kind of content. So like earlier, Shane talking about the Halloween quest this year, Guys and Dolls, you said that you thought that quest would fit pretty well into old school.
yeah.
I don't like if the update this year was just Guys and Dolls, do the Guys and Dolls quest, you unlock all the rewards. There's no harvest haulers, no nothing else. I don't think that would go over well as a piece of content in RS3 because I think we have an expectation of both like updates in general and quests in particular that say that level of content misses the mark. It's not enough. And
it doesn't hit what people ask for RS3 basically.
Right. It's snacky, but it's not substantial, and we want something more substantial. And whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't want to get into, but I do think it is a real feeling in the community, and it's definitely a feeling that I have and try to fight within myself. And I think that makes it hard to do that sort of thing because you run into a few different options. Either you can try and do this really small scale thing, and then you risk players saying, "Oh, that's boring. I don't really care about that.
Right.
This is bad content."
You're done in 5 minutes. Whoop-de-doo.
Or right, exactly. Or you can try and do something grander in scope. Like this isn't a great example because this became permanent content, but something like, Myths of the White Lands or Broken Home, where it's a meatier piece of content, but then that's expensive to do year
because
after year
you're putting
year.
a dev on it and everything else that goes with a regular update.
You're putting a dev on it. You
Halloween.
have RS3,
Yeah.
RS3 graphical budget. You have just the inherent cost of doing something with that greater scope. Or you can do what Pyrn suggested and bring back older stuff, reuse stuff you've already made, but then first off, you run into potential issues just porting old code into an engine that's had 20 years worth of updates. And I have no idea what the QA volume on that. And then you have the question of, does this hold up, both graphically and gameplay wise? Our player is going to be happy with this, and some will just for the nostalgia. But if
you'd
they're
have to
not
remaster them, yeah. You'd have to put that investment into remastering, yeah.
Then we get into the cost issue again.
Yeah, I mean,
Which
I
it's a
understand.
lesser
but
issue
yeah.
because you have
Which
the
is
code
why they
already
settled
there
on
to
the
extend.
hub, because it's mostly reusable. You add a few cosmetics and a short Christmas quest.
And let's be honest, the majority of people, we are very engaged. A lot of people
Sure.
just love sitting there and getting their free XP.
Yep.
You know,
Absolutely.
I just want to go on boss, but hey, this is going to get me up to help get my max cape or get my pets or whatever, so I can just camp here while I'm at work or whatever, AFK everything. So I think for the majority, the majority of casual player, I think these hubs are perfect for them.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
I think even for non-casual, like if it wasn't for leagues, I would be reasonably happy just camping at the firemaking spot while I'm working
mm.
because I need the firemaking pet. This keeps me occupied. So,
Oh yeah, well,
and it keeps you logged
I would
in, which
probably be
is a
there just.
win-win across all the boxes. So
I would probably just there getting the spooky tokens just so for next year in case they bring out something good, or 1 year I want to just sit there and drop a whole lot on the confectionaries. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
So but yeah.
Okay. Well, I came into this thinking that we were going to have this discussion and it was going to be holiday event overload, but I think we've talked ourselves into this being the best option that exists right now for the game as it is.
For the majority, yeah. For myself, no, it's not. Yeah. But I've got to look at what the majority is, and I mean, not everyone's 200 mil. I mean, not everyone has all the pets.
Yeah.
I've got, that's the way I have to look at it and understand. And as I've always said, Jagex is a business. They're not designing a game solely for me. It's what's got to be best for the majority, and that's what we have to look at.
And for their constraints.
And for their own budgets and pockets. I mean, the devs don't want to be sitting there putting something that's going to ostracize the vast majority because they want to keep their jobs.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm ragging on old holiday events. Like I loved the holiday quests back in the day. I would love for Jagex to go back to doing stuff like that, where they can do these really cool and interesting quests like Diango's Workshop, that old marionette event.
Yeah, but how good would it be if on those what do they call them, the game jam events, that one of the mods says, well, each year I'm going to pick an old holiday event quest, update it, sit there. It may not have the greatest ultra high graphics, but I'll bring it up to date and use other things that are in the game that, the way they've been doing their all the actual graphics and such, they are making it easier to port across to other things. So, they may be able, where it's, 3/4 of the stuff is already going to be pretty much done and just ported across. The storyline's there. It's just a matter of, updating a few little bits and pieces and making sure it works.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I don't know programming. I don't know,
my sense is that taking anything from, more than probably a couple years ago and inserting it into the game would be a bad idea.
Oh, of course. That's what I mean. It would have to be someone who just sat there, took it, and rewrote it for the current game.
That is what
as
it would
a game
have.
jam type project.
That is what it would probably have to be.
Yes.
Okay. Good. Well, I think that turned out better than I was expecting on that. In terms of where we began and where we went.
Well, we always do try to be glass half full.
Well, I mean, yeah, but at the same time, I think there are legitimate things that people were,
of course,
concerned about on that.
If I wanted to be depressed, I'd turn on the news.
Well, exactly. That's right. I watch horror movies to escape the horror of real life.
And that is why we're not going to be like the news here for RSBANDB update. Parcels from the Dead is back, though.
Yes.
I want to point out some of the things that are in this one this year. The Soul Die has returned. But what else has also returned in Death's Forgotten Belongings, the second to top tier package that you can get, is there is now an ensouled pumpkin mask in black and red. the one that set
Cool.
everybody off 2 years ago. And you know what else is also here in these packages? And I don't know if these are going to get released on Treasure Hunter or what, but colored pumpkins, black, purple, and red pumpkins, similar to the orange ones from 2 decades ago at this point, that you can eat if you're not careful.
I did not have remastered pumpkins on my bingo card. I was not expecting that.
No, and that's why I'm wondering, like, is this in sold things and the pumpkin's going to go on Treasure Hunter? Because that's almost like the same way that you would get the Santa hats and whatnot around Christmas.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at the in-game calendar now, and there's there are promotions in until the 23rd.
So that's a week
Death's
from now.
Dozen is starting on Sunday.
Yeah.
The current one doesn't have any of the promo stuff. It ends on Saturday. The new one that starts on Sunday and goes to
But the current one does have the
next
soul
Wednesday.
die.
Does it?
Yeah, you can get the soul die from the track after opening however many keys.
Oh yes. Yes, and it is also in the it's in the bonus chests as well.
Yeah.
And that did actually carry on from last year too. What you opened last year, that number carries over.
Yeah, and we don't know what Death's Dozen is going to be. It looks like
No.
it looks like that's a new one, so hard to say.
It looks like it's a repeat of that one where you can pick one of you fill out your
Oh, you
card
fill
of
out
the
your
things that you
colored
want.
your colored
picks
gems and then
randomly
go with
from
that.
that.
Right. Okay.
Just a quick one. Pestilent Torva armor token. Has that been here before?
Yes, that sounds
Okay,
familiar.
I don't remember that one.
I want to say that came
That
in
does
like
ring a bell.
2019 or 2018.
Okay, so it's an old one.
Last year, actually.
Oh, okay.
November
Okay.
2024.
Okay, I just don't remember that from last year. I mean, obviously the Assassin's Walkover rides and all those.
Everybody
back
knows
again,
those
but-
ones.
Yes.
So that's there. And again, Pyrn, you mentioned this to me when we were talking about the show this week. Die on Treasure Hunter and in Parcels from the Dead versus Clues. And people were asking, for the soul die in the direct purchase MTX, and they said, no, we have plans to bring the soul die back to game in another way. And lo and behold, here we are.
Yeah. Again, I do think dies should be an exclusive to clues. Yeah, your master, your elite clues type thing. But I do a lot of clues, so I sort of understand people wanting an aha moment for these type of events, but I don't like it being dies on being used because they were sort of originally done for clues, and I think they should remain there, just on my personal opinion.
Yeah, and this the Parcels from the Dead ran, I think it was just after Necromancy came out, and we had that whole discussion a few days after that was there too, and that was something else in addition to Hero Pass that kind of took the wins out of the sales for that one just before Necromancy rather launched, and it had pretty much the same table there minus the pumpkins. So I want to just point something out here, and I realize again this is gonna sound very hypocritical, probably from the side of Jagex, but do they realize what it looks like adding all these chance-based things 10 days before the big conversation on microtransaction stuff? And I'll say it in the next sentence rather than 5 minutes later. Yeah, the business decisions for Parcels from the Dead was likely made, a month and a half, 2 months ago on this before they had the answers of all the MTX stuff. But I just want to point out what it looks like running something with so much chance and randomness before they have this MTX conversation in about 10 days. I just wanted to point that out.
I mean, let's also bear in mind how much of this game is fundamentally a slot machine already, even if you don't get into MTX.
Yeah.
And we found that out by bossing this week, haven't we?
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
No, just
everyone.
Just
in general.
Oh, okay.
When you go bossing is
leagues.
one of the big ones for random.
Some people were getting 7 or 8 shafts and everything else, but just chasing a spear tip. But they've got 7 or 8 of all the other pieces before they finally get that one they need to make.
Part of me wonders if the reason the pumpkins in particular are not on Treasure Hunter is to keep that in mind as they head towards that MTX discussion. Because they can run something that has an option of providing the soul die on Treasure Hunter as you open more keys. Because you're right, Xurdones, you have to go down the track in order to get that. You can't just, win it outright on Treasure Hunter. I don't think, at least.
Yeah.
Or no, you can.
The dies you can.
Yeah, the die.
The others you can't.
Yeah. Which
you can get last wills, and so the last wills you can exchange. There's a layer of indirection.
Yeah. And I wonder if the reason we're getting more soul die in the Treasure Hunter promos for this week and next week is to basically say that, based on what we got from our MTX conversations, we felt that it might not necessarily be a good thing to put those pumpkins on Treasure Hunter this time around. I wonder if that had something to do with it. We'll never know, but I wonder.
I don't know the answer to that question. Something that I want to just say for the record is that in general, if you are wondering whether a company has noticed the optics of a decision they've made, the answer is invariably someone did, but in the worst case scenario, that person wasn't in decision-making position.
Right.
And I'm not saying the person in decision-making didn't notice it as well. They may have or they may not have, but I guarantee you someone at Jagex has noticed this.
Noticed in particular the bit about the pumpkins not being on Treasure Hunter, or
just broadly
the optics of the situation here.
Yeah, just broadly. Someone has noticed that. Someone has probably raised it in a meeting. They may or may not have been listened to.
And I think, the answer to this question we're asking here comes down to just how big the supposed changes are going to be, or at least the ideas that they want to talk about when they come out, a week from Monday. Because as you keep rolling, as you get towards Christmas, there's going to be, of course, the question of, are we getting another colored Santa hat this year? Is that going to be just part of wrapping paper? Is that going to be just part of the event, like the black party hat, or is it going to be something else? Is it going to be like a Parcels from the Dead situation where it's adjacent to Treasure Hunter? What's the deal on that? And I think what we're all lacking at this point is a bit of clarity on that situation. Because we know how fatiguing these conversations on microtransactions can be when it's the same thing time and time again. And to be fair, I have zero problems with the idea of some kind of, loop mechanic like that in the game. Games I play have far worse. But I think that beyond Treasure Hunter, there definitely needs to be some examination of everything that is adjacent to it.
For me, as long as they're tradable, I have no issue. Because if I really want it, I'm just going to buy it. Like, I'm having a look down this list, and there are a couple of new tokens that they've brought out for this year as well. A Batonado token, teleport token, which looks good. A little Lucille bat pet. So there are
Lucille, that's from Yak Track. I think Bat NATO is too.
Oh, okay. Because it just says the update. It was released on the 13th of October, 2025, on them both.
They may have. I mean, they wouldn't have been unlocked tokens in Yak Track, but Lucille, I know is old. I know that existed before.
Okay.
Bat NATO came out November 2024.
Potion Pandemonium. Okay, so it is just the token that they're releasing now for people.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
But I just wanted to point out a bit of the optics around that, and just, players be aware of that. Jagex, if you're listening, be aware of the optics of, such a random gamble-based type thing going on to get the ultra rare rewards here when we just had, a direct purchase thing. And in 10 days, you're going to be talking about microtransactions. Just be aware of the optics on that. And that, there's 2 game modes running right now, League's Catalyst and Gridmaster, where if people wanted to have none of this, they could just be having none of this. So that's all I have to say on that. I don't know if anybody else has anything to add to that discussion.
Nope.
As I said, as long as everything is a tradable rare, if they put it on there that, I can just go and buy if I want to, I have no issue. But if you're requiring me to buy keys to have a chance to unlock it, then I've got issues.
All right. Let's move on and talk about what we've been doing in leagues, and I think I've probably had the most since we last spoke here about a week ago, in terms of the level of exhaustion that I'm starting to feel right now with it. So just in a quick whirlwind fashion, as we go here, as we finished the show last week, I headed over to the Fletching Guild and bought arrowheads and shafts for 99 fletching, and I did that. And then following from that, I made the idea to go and get 100 mining and 100 smithing, which, again, a good amount of time thrown into that. And the plan, with all the tasks surrounding that, did indeed get me to tier 7 on the weekend, as I envisioned it would. In fact, sooner than I was expecting, because of just all the other little things that, kind of cropped up along the way that I did. So I got to tier 7, and I thought about it for a couple hours. As I was talking about last week, it was either going to be Ascension or Specialist, and I went with Specialist.
Oh, interesting. Well, yeah.
I am 100%.
If you're doing melee, I think Specialist is the correct choice.
It is. I am 100% happy with that decision, because I went down to the Calphites to grab some blue charms, and I was killing entire rooms of Calphite with that Dragon 2-hand spec and the boosted damage it was doing.
Yeah.
I also had a Calphite Queen Reaper task. I did the first phase, of course, with the Crystal Halberd melee, as you would do. And then when it came time for the second phase, where it had the melee protection up, you know what I did? I used that Essence of Finality amulet as a Ceradoman sword, and with 2 Ceradoman sword specs, took down the Calphite Queen.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because that Ceradoman sword spec is magic-based.
Ah, cheeky. All right.
Yeah. And then, I have ideas for, the ultimate camp for Rathus to get the spear. And then
Spear, yeah.
We'll go back to the Dragon 2-hand for things like Kiln and Zuck. But I'm fairly certain I made the correct choice in that, because, the book would happen every so often randomly. I wouldn't be able to control it. And the thing I was most looking forward to with the League was having the ability to do things that I couldn't normally do in-game, and lo and behold, here we are. So, Specialist plus melee definitely was the win in that case. I spent most of Thanksgiving weekend after that chasing 100 rune crafting in the rune span with rune spheres.
Ugh.
Yeah, indeed.
Rune span. Ugh.
Well, I wasn't going to go questing because I made a conscious decision that I wasn't going to be doing too much questing this league.
Yeah.
Because I have quests to do.
Questing is very... Quest lamps are really nice, though.
They are. But, I haven't done Extinction or even the World Wakes yet on the GIM. So I have to do them. And I'm, I did the World Wakes here in the league, but I wasn't necessarily going to do Extinction twice in the span of a few weeks. So that was factored into it. As I mentioned, the World Wakes, I'm going to wait until, I guess we got half of the quest panel here for this. Xurdones, I don't know if you're going to agree or disagree with this, but I did not like the World Wakes when I replayed it.
What did you not like about it?
Well, I will say that the lore around Guthix was wonderful, as were the puzzles in the quest. But a lot of the dialogue options, the over-the-top dialogue options, similar to the kind of dialogue that we have in the early 6 Age quest, like Missing Presumed Death, it's like, oh my god, I can't believe this was in-game. The ones that basically allow you to say that you or your chosen god is going to be the one that's going to, emerge victorious there. It's just like, this doesn't feel like RS.
Yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from. I think it goes back to that high choice decision, which we've talked about before. I don't know. I didn't find it wildly egregious, but then I've been speeding through quests.
Yeah.
The quests
Are you
that I
using
do,
Alt-1
so.
Quest Helper? Because that's the thing.
No.
Okay. I don't necessarily know how that is here.
I don't.
But
I didn't even know we had it as a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I know RuneLight has
yeah,
it.
apparently it's an Alt-1 add-on. I don't necessarily know how good it is, but
Okay. Cool, I guess.
after that, I did archaeology. I basically did one of each collection, and that was enough to get me to the point that I could do Armadillo 1 on repeat to get the blueprint fragments for Ancient Invention. And then by that time, I just decided, okay, we're going to just advance time this thing to 99. And that was archaeology. Then following from that, the last bit running up to the show here was just getting Herblore to 75 and then summoning to 95 or 96. I don't remember which one I got, but that's been my week, and you can kind of see why it's starting to feel like a bit of exhaustion there. Just so much go on that over the last week.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna see if I can lean into some PVM and probably get the kiln done this weekend, and then we'll take it from there. So, but that's been me. I don't necessarily know that I'm targeting a specific rank. If I get there, we'll get there. I more just want to play with the melee relic and upgrade the melee combat type as my end game, I think, rather than going for a specific trophy color and chasing more tasks. I think that's just how I feel at this point. So,
well, fair enough.
Pyrn?
Yeah, well, it's been a couple of weeks, so I did hit my tier 7 as well. I went for the prayer one, and loving that I did that as well, because I can just click on protection prayer and it gives me soul split at the same time. And that has been such a boon at a lot of places. Also hit 100 fletching, but I went a different route. I sort of did a more AFK style, just sitting down there cutting hair at the Zygomites. And
that
got
unlocks at like 92, doesn't it?
92, I believe. Yeah, I started at about 95.
Okay.
And I got 32 baby Zygomites I adopted there.
Okay, so I need to go there then.
So that was actually pretty cool.
I need to go there then because my farm is lacking.
Yeah. I'm 111 farming, and basically I've grown some sheep for my for my necromancy gear, and that's about all I've done. So
The rest is what, flash events?
No, the rest has just been seeds. When I grow my seeds.
Chris Hour.
Basically, 99 Lanternine seeds got me from 92 to 98 farming in one sit.
And see, that's the thing I kind of wish I had, because I went with the golden-footed boots. Yeah. But at the same time, I know I can just get my, POF animals in advanced time, and I'll be golden. So it's not.
Well, that's right. But I wanted all the herbs anyway, and so I've just got so many herbs. It's great. Obviously got my 99 herb lore and such. It's great to have overloads back. I also hit the 100 rune crafting because I want to get those time runes going. Again, same as you, just sat at rune span for that. My main reason for going fletching is to get be able to woodcut to fletch the new eternal magics into bows. So I have a sort of a high level bow for when I start going to do my Dagonoths and all that type of thing. Knocked out quite a few quests. Did Shades of Morton.
Oh my god!
Went down
question why you would do that in a league.
Well, because I need to see the Legacy of Seer Days.
You need it for the vampires.
Oh, okay. Yes. And there's probably
there's
a few
quite
hundred points behind that. Yeah,
there's quite a lot of points behind that. So I went down there. I was reading up. You can do it solo. It's a pain in the ass, but you can do it. But there's another Aussie guy down there said, any chance you want to do Shades of Morton with me? And I'm going, in the middle of doing it, mate. Let's go. So we both basically put down some of the dummies. One of us would build while we'd kill and then swap over and such. And basically, in the space of about 20 minutes, I got 66 sacred oil done. So it was really just two of us, and that was more than enough.
Okay,
and
that's not bad.
I remember that from when on the GIMP account, when I was doing that one, I bought in the main account and just put on aggro pot, stood him sort of in the middle of where the shades came, and I was able to just build with the Pugnacious account and do that. So two people down there easily do it. So that was a bit of fun. And then a third guy come in and he was just running around just killing everything. I said, do you want me to take over and you can build? He goes, no, I'm just having fun killing these. He says, I'm bored at the moment. So that made it even quicker because the other guy was able to jump on and we were both building that way while he was just killing everything for us.
Yeah, and I'll back you up on that. That's one of the things I think that I've seen a lot of too, is that people just seem to be willing to work together where they can in the league, and that's something we've either forgotten because of the GIM, or it's just something that doesn't happen as much on main because everybody's just so focused on their long-term AFK grinds.
Exactly. Yeah, this guy, he's just I'm leveling up my my melee stats, so he's running around killing everything and we're just sitting there building. So that was a lot of fun getting that done, so got that out of the way so I can move on with my questing run. Knocked out Lunar Diplomacy as well, because needed that for various tasks.
Yep. And that reminds me, actually, I'll throw this in here too. Thanksy and Avernick were having a discussion last week in the What Have We Been Doing about what exactly Lunar Isle you can do without the quest, because you have access now, as per patch note, to Lunar Isle if you are at the tier where you have the Ancient Spellbook. So if you can get Astral Runes somehow, like through a clue, or the ZMI altar, you can teleport yourself there, because the Fremenic person will not take you there. So
no.
Once you're there, you can't craft runes on the altar. but you can use the altar to change your spellbook. But the most interesting thing that I found with that is that if you get there, you are able to use the bank without a seal of passage, and you can use Baba Yaga's store, but you cannot unlock the lodestone without the quest.
No, you got to do the quest and all that. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just been a sort of a lot of fun, and also knocked out the 120 archaeology. So I have Death Note now, because I'm going to need those 35k souls.
Oh shit, that's a good idea for that.
Yeah. So just because I was going for magic notepaper, but I need 200k dungeoneering tokens, and I'm sitting there going, no way. And then I thought, oh, Death Note, I forgot about Death Note, so smack that
or
out.
just or just do the hard.
No, well, hard. I need. I think it's extinction. I need for that,
right.
So I haven't got around to that yet. So yeah, but yeah, Death Note was just like bang, easy done.
Yeah, and that's the thing with archaeology is that once you have your supply of chronos, you just advance time it and you're done. And that's what I meant to you the other day when I said I'm done training archaeology. I said I'm basically done digging.
But I mean, there's points behind a lot of the mysteries too in archaeology, so I was just sort of smacking those out, and it just archaeology just went so quick, and because you're getting 5 times everything, and it's half the cost and such, I think I've had to go and mine resources once. Everything else has been more than enough to make what I've uncovered.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And you know the one resource I've run out of?
What's that one?
Gold rune.
Oh yeah, the gold rune ones. Yeah, well, I've been lucky because I've been doing mining too, and you open your geodes. Yeah, you open your geodes and you get a ton of different ones in there too. So
it was Xurdones insignias for me.
Okay, well that's easy.
Imperial Steel was the one that I had to go and get.
Yeah.
And that was just early on. And then, the rest, because I've also been doing my mine. See, I don't just do one. I get bored just doing one thing over and over and over. So I'll do something for an hour and then jump on something else.
Yeah. I think that's the right call with leagues. Because I was there for, 2.5 hours farming my blue charms yesterday, and it just got to be too much.
And that's it. And as I said, I'm here for 2 months. It's very limited, so just jump. I get bored of this, I'm going to go do something else. I don't have to sit there. And I was going to be going for the dragon trophy. I don't know if I'm going to bother this time. Because I'll get rune easy enough. I'm on 35k points now. And there's a lot of things that I've got coming up that are going to be big 200 and 400 point drops. But yeah, I think just having fun. I was sort of, when you guys were talking about fatigue before, I thought, I have not experienced that yet.
Yeah, maybe it's because I've made my grinds too long, as I mentioned for that.
Made my primal armor too.
Oh God.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
How long because that takes a while.
Primal? No, you're thinking Masterwork.
No, but did you do just regular or plus 5?
No, just the first one.
Okay, then you're good.
Yeah. I thought the difference between plus 5 and the regular...
No, it's not worth it.
Isn't that great? And you told me yesterday, and I thought when people were talking about this, they were joking. Just making a Star Bloom and using
or even
Animate Dead. Or Well, Ganodermic you need to kill with magic, the creatures down there.
Oh, okay.
So the melee hits, but like at 10% of what...
And that's what I was going to say, was that rather than using like primal and metal armors, if you have something that is, a magic robe, even Mystic, with Animate Dead, you're going to be very comfy.
Yeah. And I mean, I shouldn't complain because Ganodermics are easy to kill. With just Mystic. Not easy, but are killable with the other Mystic armor.
And keep in mind, you have the Sun Spear, which can act as a 78 magic weapon.
Exactly. Yep. Best thing I got the sun. So that's why I got the sun spear is now my magic weapon. I've got my T100 bow, and I've got my Lanicus spear, so I'm all set.
Fun fact, if you do River of Blood, you'll have 2 sun spears. I was a little silly. I had mine wielded while I'm doing the bit in the quest to make the damn thing.
Oh, so
Like,
you actually do get to hold 2, do you? That's good.
Oh, yeah, no, I have 2 of them in my bank.
Oh, well, that's good, because then you've got, yeah. I mean, if I had known that, I would have gone earlier, so I'd have both the range and the magic weapon at that
Yeah,
level.
you don't need to swap them, yeah.
Yeah.
What about Xurdones?
Well, in keeping with my general philosophy, I've just been kind of farting around doing whatever. I spent several weeks doing quests for points. So I'm up to 246 quest points. I did River of Blood, I did Extinction. Those are the main quest series that I've finished. I've been hemming and hawing over whether I want to do the desert, like work up to Eclipse of the Heart, because it's some tasty lamps behind.
It's 16 mil total XP.
Behind those. It's so many quests. It's a lot of quests, and it's a short mode, so I don't know.
And see, like I said, that's the thing that I'm at, is that, I don't know when my point push will stop, because I just want to do some elite PVM, which I've never done before, so that might just be the rest of it, getting the gear and leaning into that, and then whatever points happen from that happen.
Yeah, I've really been point focused.
That's why I decided the same thing. I thought, am I going to bother about going for Dragon? Because I want to try some of those bosses that I don't get to do.
Yeah.
We could go to a mascot.
Yeah, could go to a mascot. There's points on a mascot.
I think it'd be interesting to do a mascot with Melee, given how I was struggling with Necromancy's range of 6. See what we could do with 3.
Well, at least you'll have D2H to just melt everything.
Anyway,
D-claws.
Okay. Sorry, Xurdones, carry on.
Yeah, so I've been all over the place doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I got the max level task today, and I don't have max level.
Oh, right, because it's programmed in to trigger at that total level.
At 2898, yeah. I do have base 90s. I have a couple. My lowest skill right now is crafting at 91. I need to go back to gate and get that up. But I've got a lot of 99s, a couple of 110s, 250 mils, prayer and invention. Getting close on mining, smithing, and necromancy to 50 mil, but not quite there yet.
How are you finding necromancy's power in the league compared to the main game? And, I think I can ask you that because in the main game you were doing a lot of the PVM with Necro.
And I haven't been doing a ton of PVM so far. I haven't been to Nex yet, and I don't know if I will go to Nex, but I think it's noticeable but marginal. It's definitely not the big upgrade that Melee is. I do notice, I use less food because the ghost hits harder, which means you get more heal. But in general, I went to Kiln for the first time this week, and I had some troubles with that just because I kind of overestimated my abilities. So I died a few times. One time I died stupidly because I hit the wrong button on Jad. I surged instead of Prayer Flight.
Okay.
But I also died to the Dills because I had to switch to my melee weapon.
That happened to me on the game.
The smash attack just kind of tore me apart. But I got through it eventually, and then I went back today, and I pretty much AFK'd the whole thing except for the Jad waves, obviously, up to the melee waves, I think is when I started having to pay attention again.
Okay, so
And that's after I went from tier 70 to tier 80 weapons. I don't have tier 90 weapons yet. I'm working on that now. I went to God Wars 2 for the first time today, and Greg is still tough. Like Greg can still really tear you apart, even with healing. Hellweir was manageable. I haven't been to Furies or Vindicta yet, so I don't know.
that honestly sounds a lot like my Greg and Hellweir experience that I had on the game with the tier 80 weapons. So,
yeah,
marginal,
and I do have the tier 80,
say.
and I think also bear in mind, like, I'm using Primal +5.
Right.
So I'm not doing the magic armor. I don't have power, and I also don't have Animate Dead.
Okay. Why'd you choose the metal armor instead of...
Easy.
Okay.
It was easy to get.
Instead of even a
and it's good
one.
smithing XP. So
Fair.
I do need to make I do need to make Starbloom. I have a few. I got some Starbloom flowers for the task, and I have a few seeds. I want to make the Starbloom +5, but that needs a lot of seeds.
Pyrn, what was the thing that you mentioned but before we began about where we can get our Starblooms best?
Well, you have to get your Slayer up, obviously, but I think it was 39 seeds and 150 kills at Moss Golems.
Yeah, that's 108 Slayer. Yeah, I'm at 103, so it's attainable.
Camel Warriors also drop them, but just not to that extent.
Yeah, Camel Warriors are a bugger to fight.
Those four that were released as mini boss slayer creatures are still difficult.
Yeah, well, if you got the Sun Spear and melee, no.
Yeah, I went and did mammoths because that's a task, and yeah, they hit hard.
They hit like
you got to watch those because when they do their charge, they can wreck you.
Yeah. So yeah, like I say, I've just been kind of point chasing all over the place. As of recording, I am just over 48,000 points.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
It's not too bad. Do you think you'll hit it?
Yeah, I think I'll get there.
Less than 20 to go. 65, isn't it?
It's 60,000 for Dragon, 63,500 to buy out all the rewards.
Okay.
According to the news post. So 63,500, that's my goal.
And
I think I can get
there. And then you get the little badge of honor of carrying that dragon trophy around because you get it for your name as well. So.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, I mean, 99s, those are all going to be points. There's going to be a unstable air rune on Saturday, so that'll get me the runic staff, and that's another 200 points. If I can get my way through a Vorkath kill, that's another 200 points.
Oh yeah, you should be able to do that in normal, no problem.
Yeah, well, I tried it today, and I died at Vorkath because I didn't take any food.
Okay.
So if I take some food, I think I'll be okay.
Yeah, I wanted to try it earlier on for Slayer, but I didn't have the anti-fires yet. So that's important.
Yeah, I didn't take anti-fires either. That would have helped. So yeah, I think it's doable.
Yeah.
I also need to go back to clues. I have a huge stockpile of clues that I haven't gone through.
How many points do you think you got left in the clues?
Oh, I have lots of points in clues. I haven't done a ton of clues.
Oh wow. Okay.
I have over 300 hards and 100 elites stockpiled.
God.
So if I can just knuckle down and do those, like that's going to be a ton of points.
Yeah, I haven't done many elites, mainly because again Mac OS and no Alt 1, so the elites are the most difficult for me in that regard. But very good. Anything else from anyone?
No,
League-wise?
I've got 850 odd hard clues.
Jeez.
Wow.
God Wars
That's
one
got to
just
be a die.
prints them.
Oh, it does, yeah.
Yeah.
That's got to be hard clue log done.
That's what I'm hoping on.
But,
I want to get it to 1,000, then I'm just going to
well,
I mean,
to
third
say.
age.
Yeah.
I think in the base game, I think average for full hard log for golden title is like 100K.
Oh, God.
Clues is roughly expected. Hard to say how that would be different on leagues, because leagues is much higher.
Yeah, and you
rates.
get the extra rerolls and all that, and you're not necessarily concerned about keeping everything. So,
yeah.
Very good. We do have a few achievements of the week as well. Diving into those, Lemon got Dragon on October 13th. Congratulations there. Xurdones, your rune trophy is in here the day before. Congrats.
Yeah.
Godin got 200 million prayer XP on the main game on the 12th. Congratulations. Other achievements we got, Them Gains got 5.5 bill total XP on the 10th. And Snail Mage has been busy getting Rue at 23.7 million rune crafting XP, and the same craft that got him level 105. That's nice when things kind of mesh up like that, knowing that when you hit 110 or 120, you'll be done and you won't be pet chasing.
Yes.
So,
that is nice.
Good work, everybody.
Very well.
All right. Pyrn, you got a pick of the week, and I'm going to issue a viewer discretion warning before this pick of the week happens.
Definitely. This is a rated R 18+ one. But being Halloween month, it is relevant. It's a Netflix show, the third iteration of Monster. This one is on Ed Gein, called Monster: The Ed Gein Story. Netflix have been doing a few of these on different serial killers or murderers throughout the last few years. This one is on Ed Gein, obviously, from the title. Charlie Hunnam plays Ed. People remember him if they've watched Sons of Anarchy. Totally different character. Very, very creepy. Ed Gein is one of those. He was probably the most famous serial killer in because of the time it was and exactly what he did. He was very, very creepy. It's 8 episodes long. He was a murderer, grave robber. Cut people up and wore their skins and made furniture out of them, and just really, really sick person.
That honestly sounds like something that's inspired by the Nazis.
Well, it definitely was. He in that first episode, he was getting photos. A friend of his gave him photos of what they did to the Jews in the camps over there, and he was getting all excited looking at the dead bodies and all that type of stuff. And there was a magazine he had that just showed all these torture things and such, and it was just first episode's a little slow. His mum in it is a religious nut, played by the religious nut mum from Big Bang Theory. So she's been typecast. But yeah, it's, if you are into true crime type things, and how these people, how their brains work and such, interest you, this is a great show. It is very creepy. It's not something to watch with the kids. Let's put it that way.
Or even if you
also probably not something to watch just before bedtime.
Well, that's when I do watch it. I watched the because I'm up to episode 3. I watched the third episode in bed the other night because my back was playing up. So I just went to bed, put it on in bed, and laid there watching it. But I mean, I'm the guy who watches horror movies to escape the horror of real life, because I can laugh at horror. because it is all fake on the movies, whereas real life is.
But it's a bit interesting when it's
Well, but
inspired.
That's just the thing
by
about
a
this,
true
though,
story.
right? Like, this isn't fake.
No, it isn't, but it is. I mean,
I guess it's fictionalized, right?
it is a bit, yeah, because
I mean, one of the
is...
stories that came up in Google here was about Netflix's Monster, the story that didn't actually happen in real life.
Yeah, because they have dramatized a lot of it and sort of.
It's just like what happened with Chernobyl, and that's why I didn't watch that series.
I mean, the first one was done on Jeffrey Dahmer. That stayed pretty true to its, to the story. I never watched the Lyle and Eric Menendez one because that doesn't really interest me. They've just announced the 4th season. They're going to be doing Lizzie Borden, so that'll be an interesting one too.
That will be interesting.
Yeah. But basically Ed Gein, I mean, the story of Ed Gein is, basically Psycho, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Silence of the Lambs, all those movies sort of are based around stories about Ed Gein. So it was, if you like that type of thing, highly, highly recommend it.
And if you don't, then you stay away from this pick of the week entirely.
Exactly. Yeah. If that type of stuff scares you, don't turn it on. Or the first episode wouldn't bother you, but yeah, after that, it can get a little bit graphic and a little bit.
Somewhat inevitable given the subject matter, I think.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm
the sicko who turns on Ash versus Evil Dead for a good laugh. That's a comedy show to me. So
and I asked for a
be fair,
pick of the week for Spooky Month, so here we are.
Yeah.
To be fair, Xurdones, what?
Well, I mean, just like Ash versus Evil Dead. I haven't seen Ash versus Evil Dead. I have seen Army of Darkness. Army of Darkness is both silly buggers.
Yeah, no, Army of Darkness was the mildest of them all.
Yes,
the first one was good, but Ash versus Evil Dead, I mean, it's gross, it's sick, but I just sit there pissing myself laughing at the parts in it, and Ash is just got no clue. He's just like, it's just a very funny horror series.
Very good. You can find that link to Netflix in the show notes over at update.show. But that's pretty much it for this episode of Update. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Next week, we'll be discussing leagues from the old school player perspective. So if you want to get that episode when it arrives, subscribe. We're on all the major podcast listening services out there: Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Spotify, and more. Update.show/subscribe for that. And of course, as just a reminder again, if you want to hang out with us in game, Friends Chat, BitsBytes, and we do have that opening in the experienced tier Patreon slot as well at patreon.com/RSBANDB. But Pyrn, always good having you on. Everyone's second favorite Australian.
Always good to be here. Thank you.
And Xurdones, good having you on to balance out some of Pyrn and my initial thoughts there.
Well, it's a sad world when I'm the balancing voice, but all right. Happy to be here as always.
Sounds good. Well, see you guys next week for another episode of RSBANDB Update. See you then, everyone. Take care.
Happy skating all.